Hello, and welcome to Buffalo Plus. Mike, Dan, I'm Jenna.
So we were supposed to be on at 7,
Yes.
but this week Jenna was in charge of the whole show. She's been running the show here.
Oh,
Rick
stop.
and Richard already tuned in.
Nice.
Appreciate
Love
it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry we're running a little bit behind
Say,
here.
but thank you to Melody and Joey. And
Not so much
Yeah.
Joey.
and our
Yeah.
engineer.
Not so
Nah.
much Joey.
Stop
We give
it.
Joey a hard time.
Don't
Yep.
be a mean. Don't be mean. Oh, we're
Yeah.
talking Bills.
Yeah.
Shocking, I know.
Yeah.
Hello, Lisa.
I don't know.
Everybody's
I don't
tuned
know
in?
if I like my hair parted this way.
She was asking me.
Inside baseball.
She goes, "What if I part my hair this way tonight?" And I said, "That's different than what you did before." She goes, "You know which way your wife parts her hair."
Honestly,
no idea.
If yours was different, I would notice that it was different.
It
But
is
if
different.
somebody said to it's different today?
It's different right now.
Did you notice?
It's different.
Did you notice?
It's to the side.
My wife just texted me and wanted to know if we're up on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.
Look at that. No inside
Yes.
information for
Yep.
Renee?
Yes.
Yes.
Say.
Yeah.
We are now.
We are
Yeah.
now.
So, you guys know we're going to be doing the TV version of this and then
Yes.
talking back and forth. So,
Yeah.
a couple of minutes, right? Whenever Melody's ready.
30
seconds.
seconds.
Oh, look at
In
that.
30 seconds, we'll start the show.
And then you guys, Jenna brought up her hair. It looks very nice.
Oh,
It's
wow.
different. Just let everybody know it's different.
Everybody.
I don't know.
Everybody
I don't
bear
know
with
if I
it.
like it. I might change it midway through.
Hold on.
Holding
All right,
Fates
we'll be back
accountable.
in-
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
We'll
He
be
couldn't
back in
wait.
10
Yep.
seconds.
Buffalo Plus, your interactive look at the week in football, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, hello and welcome to Buffalo Plus, presented by Connors and Ferris, Mike Catalana, Dan Fetes. I am Jenna Cottrell. The Bills coming off their first win of the season, but now they head down to D.C. as they take on the Commanders in this one. Mike, the Bills feeling good after that first win. There's a lot of season obviously left, but how much of an importance is it just to get that out of the way?
They'll tell us all the time, every week, it's one game, and it is. All of that is true. But this was a different kind of week in Orchard Park because everybody felt good about themselves. I mean, we went through that entire game against the Jets, and basically every part of the unit, offense, defense, and special teams, played well. So everybody leaves the stadium and gets ready for practice, went through practice this week, feeling pretty good. It doesn't put a point on the board
Nope.
in the game against the Commanders. But look, you need weeks like that,
Yeah.
right? Because it could not have gone much worse than it did against the Jets to lose a division game like that.
We often think about you're either humbled or about to be humbled. It's win or panic. We obviously think about that when it's the bad side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have to factor that in on the good side of things. So you won. So you're not panicking this week, but you also are always on the verge of being humbled.
Yeah. And Jenna, not only did you win, but you played the type of game that I think this team wants to play or
Yeah.
aspires to play every week.
Yeah, and Josh Allen still with that. We didn't see the incredible stats in terms of 500 yards and 6 touchdowns, but at the same point, Allen winning AFC Offensive Player of the Week for the 11th time in his career. He surpasses Jim Kelly with this latest honor. And Dan, I mean, it's something that we talked to Allen about at practice, and it seems like he doesn't really care about this award. But I think this week was an important one for him.
I think it's the bounce back. For as much as he says he tunes out the media, and I believe he does, he is also a socially aware guy of what
Yeah.
is said going on around him. So while maybe he wasn't watching the shows and he said he didn't watch TV or any of those things.
He watched us.
He does. He likes comments and subscribes to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel, actually. Funny story. But he didn't need to
Yeah.
watch any TV. He knew what was being said because he knew the way that he performed. So to bounce back like he did on Sunday was massive for the whole team morale. Not just Josh, but the
Yeah.
team kind of goes as Josh Allen goes.
Yeah, and sometimes, Jenna, I think people think we're being too critical of him. The reason is because he has elevated him to that status.
Goalpost keeps moving.
He really
back.
is.
Yeah.
He is an elite player. And yes, elite players can have bad games. Josh just chose to do it on the first game of the season on national TV against a division opponent, which elevated what it was. If that was week 5 of the year, and it's a bad game. It feels like 1 of 17. When it's the first game, probably everybody, including everybody, made more of that than it was. it was a pretty bad first game.
It was a pretty bad first game, but then the bounce back effort Loki talked about, and Sean McDermott mentioned the fact that this was an important game just for Allen getting back on track and seeing that it doesn't take, what do you say?
Yeah, well, you know the way he thinks, right? He wants Josh Allen to be Josh Allen, but that comes with a cost at times. And I think McDermott felt really good to see his quarterback go out there and play a smart, sensible game, make a few Josh plays, and win it easily.
He played really good, solid football, and I think that's the thing he needs to and we need to take out of that game and perhaps even refer back to from time to time, as I said, as a good, you kind of put it on your shelf, and it's a good trophy to have up there because it's a good reminder of that you can do it when playing a certain way. You can still be, in some ways, and spectacular, but also play really winning, really high-level winning football.
A very fatherly response there, don't you think?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes, yeah.
I'm proud of you, son.
Yes. You did your work
Yeah.
and see it all worked out for you.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the Buffalo Plus podcast, which after the show, go and watch. But we talked about how Josh was credited with the restraint. Was discipline, the restraint of knowing when not to do something. He always knows when to try to make a play. It's knowing when not to have to try to make the play.
Yeah.
So credit to him. The bounce back was huge. And again, not making mistakes was massive.
Risk and reward. But we talked about it with this week. Like, how do you continue that? How do you build momentum off of that? And I had the opportunity to ask Josh after practice because I said, there's so much that was done right in that game against the Raiders. How do you continue that now heading into week 3?
I think last week, just in practice and how we approached it, the communication that we had as an offense, as a staff, it was very open, it was very honest, and just making sure that we're staying on top of those things and trying to take the same approach every week.
Open and honest conversations. And I think that has been the key to this team kind of taking a step forward.
Monday, I'm going to say it again. The Jets game was a tipping point for him.
I will disagree.
I think he recognized with his teammates, you heard him, open and honest conversations about things. He is a great player. He's the best player on the team.
No question.
But with that comes the responsibility of doing it week in and week out. And I think he really felt like he let them down.
I love the restraint that he showed. Again, and I joked around about it on every channel, every video that we've done. It was like a dog when you hold a treat up and the dog just wants to go, like, give me the treat. And you have to say, sit, stay. He may jump and try and bite the hand and get the treat against the Commanders. We will have another game this season where Josh Allen gets up on the podium all despondent and says, I cost my team the game today, and I'm upset about that. That is what we're going to see. Again, it may be few and far between, but we will always have some of these what was Josh thinking moments. That's who Josh is, with the incredible that makes him player of the week.
I agree.
Moments.
Right.
Moments.
Not
moments.
The
not
whole
games.
game.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was essentially
But Josh Allen will always be.
We will
Josh
look
Allen.
back.
I agree, but a piece of him being in his 6th year
Yeah.
is evolving, is showing that restraint, is having that discipline, and is continuing to push that.
Yep.
Because he is such a great player, and because of the expectations on this team. He's incredibly athletic, obviously, but he's got to be smart with the football.
Yeah.
Because turnovers can cost teams games, and we saw that in week 1.
Yeah, I think he will look back, and we will look back and say he started the year with his worst game. No question.
I hope for Bills fans.
No, I think it is.
I hope so.
I
that's
don't think
fair.
that's going to happen. And you know what's so good is to have Dan have to talk about that and now get a chance to
Yes.
talk about the run game.
Yeah, Dan, let's talk about the run game.
Yeah, so very well documented. Hate running the football, especially on first down. I especially hate it on 2nd and 15 draw plays in overtime. But when the Bills got the running game going this past week, and you saw James Cook get 5, 6, 7 yards a carry, it's a difference maker. It takes some of the pressure off Josh feeling like he has to do everything when he has somebody to lean on. It was, I think, their best game. The offensive line kind of dominated. They were able to lean on the Raiders and impose their will. You always hear offensive linemen say they want to be able to run the ball. James Cook was a big part of reason why. Stephon Diggs this week talked about James Cook and his talents heading into this weekend.
he's just been the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's got a lot more opportunities. I make fun of him a whole lot. I think I'm on him harder than anybody else is on him. Like, he wants to have success. He's grinding all the time. And then I just tell him, like, I need you to break some more tackles. I need you to make some things happen. Like, because we got two backs that if we get in that red zone, Jimbo, you're not going to be on that field, Jimbo. We got Tay Turner and we got Damian. They run extremely hard. They're going to punch it in. So I said, my only recipe for you is you want to score, you got to score from depth.
Jimbo.
Honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, he's not the big back.
Nope.
No.
And I do think he's going to score some touchdowns, and I think he can use his speed. But it is nice
Fantasy
to
owners
have
beware.
those. It's
Yes.
nice to have those other options.
Absolutely.
Of guys that are really good at the goal line, and we've seen that so
It
far.
was just nice seeing the Bills not have to have Josh Allen be involved in everything. Like, it was nice to see James Cook kind of carrying the water. There was also Latavius Murray, Damian Harris got mixed in as well. Just to see how it doesn't have to always be Josh. But at the same point, it was just, we've talked so much about the run game and wanting to see it be efficient.
You guys
This
have.
was a
Yeah.
This was a game where
It mattered.
It mattered.
It mattered in the game. And by the way, we say all this, and Josh was player of the week, like you
I
said.
know.
Should there be an asterisk when it's not against the Dolphins?
Yeah, there should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
Because his other 10 have been against
the
Miami.
Dolphins. It feels like
No, it's true. But we talk about Josh, but also Gabe Davis was
Yeah.
another player that showed up. We've been talking about him and secondary receivers and what that role is for this team. I mean, Gabe had almost 100 yards in this one, the touchdown as well. Dan, that's someone who we've talked so much about Diggs, what he adds to this offense, how huge of a piece he is. But having Davis also there, it really just makes the defense have to put in so much.
We've asked for consistency out of Gabe, and we've asked for 5 and 70.
he had to get that
He
sixth
had to
catch.
get the last one. He had to go over that. Great to see. He talked this week about the fact that his ankle is not injured and how much better he feels this week and this practices. It's showing early on. It's a great sight to see.
Yeah, made a great catch, made a great catch in the red zone, made another play
Yeah.
where he ran with Josh and caught the ball. Huge second option. Ended up being really the top receiver.
And Gabe exceeding expectations, Dan.
I said he was going to have a good year.
Oh, God.
I was
Well,
correct
me
last
pat
year.
myself on
I was
the back.
correct last year. I'll be right again this year.
All right, on that note, we're going to go to break. Coming up, we're going to take a look at this Commanders team, this 2-0 Commanders team, and what to watch on Watch.
All right. Again, thanks for hanging with us. If you just joined us, we started a little bit late, so we're early in the show.
Yeah, have a great comment here. Alex Aldright said, can you guys go in studio panel instead of Zoom for the longer videos? When you're all together in the same room, it's a lot better. 100% agree.
Oh.
Teaser,
It's happening.
it's happening.
It's just,
Yes, our podcast, which is up, we did it today. Those videos are usually 40 minutes long, so if you're driving to work or doing something like that, like great videos to listen to. But yeah, it is tough. We all do it from Zoom. We did it this morning. We'll all be getting together to do a podcast soon.
Yeah, I've been in the process of building a podcast studio for us.
You can't even get
That's
a
why-
microphone to work.
Yeah. Actually,
today worked.
I was so proud of you today.
Thank you.
You could have gotten a little closer. Did you know it was a little hollow? But I wasn't going to say anything because I was like, if Mike moved,
I was afraid.
Yeah, don't move.
I've been having some issues. It's
You have a lot of
Google.
issues.
It's Google. The people at Google, we got some problems. I need to talk to you.
Holding Fates accountable says, other than Max Crosby, the Raiders' defense is horrible, which
You're
is,
right.
It's true, and that's why the Bills looked so good against them.
Yeah.
When you're a good team and you play an inferior team, that is what it's supposed to look like.
You're supposed to dominate.
Yep,
And
they did
their
just
job.
what I
But he's
wanted to
right.
see.
That's not
Yeah.
a good defense, and they took them apart.
Smart Josh wins, reckless Josh equals a loss. Was more impressive with the defense. Holding Jacobs -2 rushing yards was nice.
That was good.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah, it was
great.
good.
Oh, that interception from Milano. Just
I know.
Unreal.
Holding Fates accountable. We all know Dan is casual with his hatred for Dorsey. That's a...
All right,
We'll
we're going
see.
to take
Well,
a quick
we'll
break.
see.
We'll be right back.
We'll see.
Well,
All right, welcome back to Buffalo Plus. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about this Commanders team. They are 2-0 on the season, undefeated so far. It's a sold-out crowd it's going to be for this game. What stands out to you about this team? And it's a guy that we've talked a lot about, Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
He's on the sidelines now for this Washington team, offensive coordinator. What have you seen from him and from Sam Howell?
look, I think he's brought some life to this offense. Sam Howell is a young guy, getting an opportunity. Now, no one knows if he's going to be the long-term guy. What was he, a 5th-round pick? But they're giving him a chance, and he has started 3 games, won them all, 2 this year. It hasn't been perfect, but he's been good. And I think Bieniemy, it was interesting to hear Hal talk about how Bieniemy gives him some insight and ownership, which is really good. And I think it's also helped him to not feel like everything is on him, because it can't be, right? It can't be. He's a young player, talented player, but I think he's the kind of guy that they've had in Washington, but he hasn't had the core makeup of the coaching staff, well, certainly ownership, which is a whole different thing, to just go out there and feel confident and go play.
I think it's different where if Bieniemy were to go somewhere that maybe had a veteran quarterback, I think it's different. He's going somewhere as somebody who has been around Patrick Mahomes. And when you're Sam Howell and you're a 5th-round pick that comes there, you straighten up in your chair to know that this guy has coached one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So I think that's a big plus for Bieniemy at this time with Sam Howell.
Yeah, and I think Bieniemy talked this week about like all the new talent, all the weapons that are on this Washington team. He's settling in with the team now, learning these guys' skill sets, and how that is a part of this process as well.
No, we're still learning, and I think you're always learning your guys, because certain guys are going to do certain things in certain moments, and other guys are going to do other things. But at the end of the day, you know, I think we got the pulse for who we are. But on top of that, you never want to put anybody in the box. You want to make sure that you're giving them every opportunity to show off exactly who they are and what they're about. And I think that's the most important thing of coaching, is developing those relationships, not saying, well, he can't do that or he can't do this. No, I want to give guys an opportunity to show me what they can or cannot do.
Yeah, and I think he's in the process of doing that right now with Sam Howell, a guy who a lot of fans have a lot of confidence in.
Yeah, look, if you're this team, right, first and foremost, before the season even got started, you were excited because Daniel Snyder was gone. Ding dong, the witch is dead, right? Isn't that what they say? And, you know, you talk to people in D.C. and they're like, the sun's out, right? Because they're a real franchise now, like they used to be. And Sam Howell has been kind of caught up in that a little bit. He's played well. He's made plays. He's won both his starts this year. They haven't been 2-0 since 2011. He's enjoying the ride.
Yeah, what a great opportunity for us as a team, going against a team like Buffalo. They're one of the better teams in the league, and we're excited for the challenge. We're excited to, you know, give it our best effort, and just kind of see where we're at. We feel like we're going to have all the stuff we have in so far, game plan wise, has been really good. So we're excited about the plan, and got to have a really good week of practice, and go out there on Sunday and just play our game. And I feel like if we do that, we'll have a chance.
He threw a lot of good cliches in there. As a young quarterback, we love everything we're putting in the game plan. We're having a great week of practice.
I think he believes that, though.
Yeah, that's all he knows.
He does.
That's what I'm saying.
These are good, though.
I'm not saying. I'm just stating facts. Like, would you ever come out and be like, terrible week of practice, hate the game plan?
Well, Justin Fields kind of did that.
Justin Fields.
Then he had to come and do another press conference in Chicago.
Justin Fields, maybe not the same.
I think Sam Howell's also another guy. It's interesting when young quarterbacks have success. And whether you want to say it's because there's not enough tape on them, like this is a guy that threw for an absurd amount of yards in college. So it's almost like you have to kind of go and bounce back through both his film at UNC as well as this. But he also has, guys, Ron Rivera, who just won his 100th game as a head coach in the NFL. He is very close with Sean McDermott, who is about to coach in his 100th game. He hasn't won 100 yet, but this is coaching in his 100th game. And this week, they come from the same branch, and Sean McDermott showed his respect for what he has for his former head coach.
You learn from, you know, those around you. You try and take the best that you see from those around you, and I've learned a lot by being around Coach, and whether it be in Philadelphia for those years working under Andy Reid, both of us, or in Carolina when I was working under Coach Rivera. You know, he's a great leader and a great head coach, and he's well deserving of all the attention he gets.
Two great guys. He talks about the coaching tree, the branches that have come across. Sean McDermott was asked if it's difficult to play against your former head coaches, and he said early on in his career it is, but now you've been around and you've coached against Andy Reid and you've coached against Ron Rivera before, so it's kind of like, just another game.
Yeah, go win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and this Washington team has a ton of talent. We
Dogs.
talked so much about the offense, but
Dudes.
the defensive line
Yeah.
is just, I mean, you talk about just getting after the quarterback, the pressure that Josh Allen is going to see. Dan, I mean, this is a team that, I mean, they have so much.
Yeah. Ken Dorsey, here's another compliment for you, did a phenomenal job of game planning for Max Crosby. They chipped him on every single snap, whether it was Dawson Knox, whether it was out of the backfield. This is a Washington D-line that has 4 Max Crosbys. Ken Dorsey is going to be put to the test of where do you protect, where do you give help, screen plays, quick passes, all of those things. All week you are thinking about that defensive line, how dominant they are. They will keep you up at night.
Yeah, you've got Chase Young, former #1 overall, right? And then Montez Sweat has been phenomenal.
Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen, like they are loaded on this defensive
Yeah.
line. They are really good.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, this is a team that has so much confidence, and we've talked about confidence is a hell of a drug. And, Mike, this is a team that's literally living it right now.
Yeah, I talked to David Harrison. He does the Commanders podcast on Locked On Podcast, and I asked him, well, you'll hear about the Commanders. Are the Commanders good?
They are good. You know, I don't know where the meters are on them from a national standpoint, right? But coming into the season, everybody had them at the bottom of the league, picking top 5. A lot of people talked about Drake May potentially getting drafted by this team to replace his best friend Sam Howell next season. I think with their 2 wins, they've shown that they're a very feisty team, a very resilient team, and they're looking to be a team that playoff caliber teams like the Buffalo Bills find at least a hard out, if not a team that can potentially fight for an underdog or an upset win.
Yeah, they're going to be that team coming into this game. They're going to be a team that thinks they can compete with the Bills. Bills have to show them otherwise.
They do. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, though, after that, we're going to talk about Greg Rousseau and why he says this year has been different for the defensive end.
Couple of comments here. David Constantino, he's a regular here, says, no, Dan, Brown got help for about half the snaps, not every single snap. Crosby wasn't lined up against
him.
Spencer Brown every single time. He switched on both sides. And listen, if it wasn't every snap, it was 90% of the snaps. And it was something we talked about. Don't let him have one play to wreck the game. Every single snap, you got to chip him, wear those guys down. I talked to Spencer Brown this week, and he talked about how what he learned was that those elite pass rushers never quit. And that he also learned that effort makes up for bad technique. Because he goes, watching the film back, he goes, I was not technically sound, but I gave effort. Every single play, I had to bounce back. That's what he learned.
It's really interesting because we heard Josh Allen talk about Spencer Brown, and he said when he puts his mind to it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. It wasn't a criticism, but you could take it as like maybe a little more focus.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever question a guy's effort unless you really see it there.
Yeah.
It's a tough job to play on the O-line.
Yeah.
But maybe he learned a little something in that game.
Yeah.
That when you are going against elite players, like that motor, and they got some guys with a motor, like this D-line will get after it on Sunday. Yeah.
Rick Rorick saying, am I wrong, or hasn't Washington given up a lot of sacks in the first 2 games? They gave up 7 sacks against the Cardinals.
Yep.
But looking back on that, 6 or 7?
6, I believe it's 6, but still.
Some of those were on Sam Howell.
Yes.
Like, they don't differentiate whether it's a quarterback or an offensive lineman getting beat. He held the ball for a long time, not decisive in some decision making. He got himself sacked a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. Let's talk about a bright spot on this Bills team so far. And one of the guys that's really stood out, we talked to him this week at practice. Dan, Greg Rousseau has been, it's 3rd year in the league, but
it's giant.
He really is. But just his play and what we've seen from him.
He has single-handedly taken over games and specifically plays. The way that he has been able to attack the pass rusher is one thing, but he's also been great defensively on the run as well. And this week I caught up with him because Sean McDermott said this week that he's playing with a nastiness. And I asked Greg about that.
Just going out there and playing more physical, also just kind of knowing what to do more in year 3. When you're a younger player, you think a little bit more. Now it's all about putting your ears back and just going and being aggressive. Really, just my mindset going into each and every game is like make my presence felt whenever I'm on the field. Make sure that I'm out there giving my best, doing my 111th, but also doing a little bit more, just trying to make my presence felt at all times.
He is on a diet of gunpowder and gasoline for its second year, and it is paying off.
This could be a subject at another time, but Greg Rousseau had a conversation with some people today. When you look at Brandon Beane's history of drafting, there's some good and some not so good. Obviously, Josh Allen's his #1 pick. Greg Rousseau is quickly moving up the ranks. And he's turning out to be a very effective first-round draft pick.
I loved his honesty, too, of like, I've just been in this system a couple years now, and it's sinking in. Like, he can be more instinctual. He can be, instead of being reactionary, trying to read things. And you see how disruptive he can be. I mean, I think
Floyd, Vaughn, Daquan.
And that's the thing. You don't even have Von Miller back yet. And
but he's learning from those guys.
Exactly. But you're having all this, production so far. So
and this is what they talked about. Without Vaughn, somebody has to step up.
Yeah.
And so far, both he and Floyd have stepped up.
Yeah, and he's made things look good. And look, can they continue this now heading into this week?
Yeah, we'll see how they play this week. A lot's been made about how Josh Allen played. Will he continue to do that? How will they match up with a team that they're favored with this week against the Commanders? Our sponsor, Greg Connors, gave us a little insight on what he thinks about the way Josh plays and how this game will go.
It's like, is he going to be this guy that can be a shooting star, or is he going to be that consistent, conscientious player that's going to keep them at that high level? I think if the Bills stay disciplined with the way Dorsey was at play calling and the way that the offensive line improved, I think it's going to be 31-17 Bills.
And that still photo of him trying to jump over Marcus Epps was much more elegant than the actual play itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that hurdle didn't work very well.
Epps goes, or Allen goes, you got me.
Yeah, he got me.
Former college teammate.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we heard Greg's prediction. Coming up after the break, we'll give you our picks and predictions for this game. Will the Bills be sprinting into D.C. with the win? We'll talk all about it coming up.
The TBTs from Jenna.
Learned that from Mr. Fetes. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. Some people asking, is Floyd good to go this week? Floyd on Wednesday looked into reporters during practice and said that he was going to play. That's not an official designation by any means.
What was he listed today? Do we
limited?
I believe limited.
So easy to say limited. They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll get the designation.
I will say Spencer Brown popping up on the injury report with a shoulder injury is something to note. We'll see what that means.
And you guys
for the
know,
week.
well, if they're watching, Kirksey retired today.
Christian Kirksey.
He had never really got a chance, so AJ's back.
Yeah, AJ Klein's back.
We finally said his last name right. Dan and I were really bad with his
I was just following.
That's why he retired.
I was following your lead.
I was following yours.
But you know what? In this case, and it looks like Terrell Bernard's got the job for now.
Yeah.
As a backup, I do not mind AJ Klein in a limited role there on the practice squad.
Obviously very familiar with the Bills.
Yeah.
Holding Fetes accountable, always holding me accountable. Talks about, the solid play of the offensive line last week on Max Crosby. Aaron Cromer should get some of the credit for that as well. And there's no question about that.
But the plan was good.
100%.
The plan on offense, too.
Pushing the right buttons.
Not every coach does that and says, let's chip on this guy. Sometimes there's a little ego that goes on and go, we can handle this.
Yeah.
Why do that?
Yeah.
It's going to be a little harder this week because they got so many guys on the line.
So many players.
But you can get to their secondary.
Yeah.
You can make some plays on this secondary. So
I agree. That
see.
is something to look. How much time do we have?
Melody?
Oh,
10
okay.
seconds.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Okay, so the Bills going down. DC. Dan, what is your prediction for this game?
I think this game's going to be another close one. I think early on, it's not who you play, it's also when you play them in the season. And right now, this Commanders team is kind of feeling themselves right now. The only way you let the Commanders hang around is if you turn the football over. Don't turn the football over, Josh. Continue to play smart and show the restraint. Build off what you showed last week. What's the faces for?
You're talking about Josh.
I got to come back. Seriously?
Oh, my gosh.
Ah.
Yeah. Josh is going to stay smart.
Yeah, turnovers hurt the other team. That's nothing new. I'm not saying I hope Josh can do it. Bills win. Put up the graphic.
All right. All right, we're going to go on.
23-10.
I have the Bills winning this game as well. I have it being a larger score difference. I think the Bills are the better team. They will show that. Josh Allen plays smart. This Bills team will follow. Buffalo wins in this one. I have the final score, 27-16.
Yeah, I have the Bills winning it too. This is going to be a tough place right at the beginning of the game, especially because these fans will be fired up.
Yep.
Bills can handle that. That's not an issue for them. I think the Bills win it by a touchdown in this one. Get the win. Nice, solid effort, 24-17.
Josh Allen plays smart.
Smart, like
Smart.
Dan wants him to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right.
What have I bet against Josh Allen playing smart?
Be sure to check out the Buffalo
Like, yeah,
Plus.
be reckless. Be
Buffalo
reckless,
Plus
Josh.
YouTube channel.
Mash all the buttons.
Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You can see this beautiful content like we're talking about. Thank you for joining us. For Dan Fetes and Mike Catalana, I am Jenna Cottrell. Thank you for watching and tuning in to Buffalo Plus.
Oh, we were still on. We're good.